Well, I got some breaking news. Governor Ron DeSantis, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, is going to announce that he is running for president on Wednesday in an interview with Elon Musk on Twitter. Now, I'm going to try and hold my laughter for when the interview actually takes place, as these are two clowns discussing this presidential bid. I believe the technical term here is clown show, but we're going to have to wait and see how much of a clown show it actually is. But this announcement comes from NBC News. Ron DeSantis will launch his presidential bid with Elon Musk. So it's apparently going to be moderated, or the discussion is going to be moderated by David Sachs, who is a tech entrepreneur. He's close associates with Peter Thiel. We're talking about another, libertarian businessman here. Remember when conservatives complained that Twitter was too political? And now you have the guy running Twitter bringing on a presidential candidate to announce his bid. Of course, the hypocrisy is the point for a lot of these people. They do not care. But that same evening, they're also going to release a launch video, and DeSantis will begin visiting several early states after Memorial Day. Now, it's hard to know what to really talk about here. I'm going to get to a hilarious video of Ron DeSantis in a second. But because this, as we've talked about for months, this has been hinted at forever. This idea that, of course, he's going to run because he has to do it now. He's has all this attention. At the same time, understanding that Donald Trump is eating his lunch. And Donald Trump has real charisma. Putting aside all of how terrible Donald Trump is, obviously, he was president for 4 years. We all saw it. But just in terms of what Republican voters, what activates them, they like the guy who throws the most crap and who does it well and who can be funny for their kind of humor. Donald Trump is that person. Ron DeSantis has negative charisma. So let me show you this video I saw put out. This is from Keith Edwards here, writing, maybe the worst retail politician ever. Just brutal to watch. Let's check this out. In fact, you know what? I'll go small, give you a larger image here of how ridiculous this clown is.
How are you doing? Good, sir. Wow, look at this. You guys good. Hi, how are you guys? Good to see you. So what do you got? Go right over here? Yes. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Wow. Crowded, huh? Good. Hey, how are you doing? It smells really good, I'll tell you that. So we'll do it, okay. How you doing? Good to see. What's your name?
I'm Tim Hampton.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's great to be up in New Hampshire.
What's your name? Okay. You don't ask him how he's doing? Like, well, it's crowded in here. Look, I got social anxiety. Even I'm better than this. I could do a better job than Ron DeSantis is doing right here. This is just, he doesn't have anything. He's just he's so vanilla.
Sure. How are you guys doing? Stay tuned, man. I can't do it.
He's really trying to be a normal person, and it's just not working out for him. But look, maybe he will learn on the job. Maybe he will learn during his campaign how to be a person. We're going to have to see. I feel like there's going to be a lot of hilarious moments coming up out of this campaign, out of this primary in general. So look forward to all that. But what else here? So it's going to be announced on Wednesday at 6 p.m. I also want to share some of what Ron DeSantis has been doing recently, and there's a lot that he's been doing, but here are just a couple of examples. Penguin Random House and Florida parents sue school district over book bans. So there have been a number of books that have been banned from schools. As NBC News writes here, in its latest annual book censorship report, the American Library Association documented 1,269 challenges to more than 2,500 books last year, the highest number of attempted book bans since it began tracking such efforts in 2001. Of the 13 books that made its list of most challenged books last year, 7 titles, including 3 of the top 4, were challenged for having LGBTQ content, it found. So that has been the focus of these book bans. is on race, books discussing race, and LGBTQ content. Another example of what he's been doing, I covered this, or I should say the Leftist Mafia covered this on the podcast last week that I clipped out. DeSantis signs bill to allow state to take trans kids away from their families. Which sounds, like reading this, it sounds, no, this hyperbole, right? This sounds ridiculous. But you read through the bill, and that's what it states. In addition to that, and again, I covered this before, so I'm not going to go over all the same stuff again, but I'll link to that video below here. But it also, access to gender-affirming care for adults will be severely restricted under the bill as well. So only physicians, not health experts like nurse practitioners or physician's assistants, would be allowed to perform gender-affirming care. This is already having widespread impacts. At least one Florida clinic that provides gender-affirming care in the state is staffed by only nurse practitioners, leaving the clinic's patients in limbo, while Planned Parenthood is canceling adults' appointments for gender-affirming care in the state. Look, this stuff doesn't have wide appeal. There's a recent polling, I believe from YouGov, Yahoo News, about what people care about, what people in Florida care about. And the so-called wokeness is low on the list compared to, actual issues like the cost of living. You wonder at some point, how much of this can you actually do until people are just completely turned off, regardless of where they sit politically. Because if this is the majority of what you're doing in Florida, and it is, while not addressing things like the cost of living, then I don't know, like, what is the appeal here? What is the appeal of Ron DeSantis, really? And that's if you care about issues. Republican primary voters have shown they don't really care. They care about who is the loudest baboon. And that has been Donald Trump now for, a good few years, and it's still him. Ron DeSantis doesn't have that in him. He isn't funny. He isn't charismatic. He doesn't have the ability to really, hit Trump hard in any way. I don't see it happening. Unless Trump is out of the race for some other reason, I can't imagine Ron DeSantis doing very well. But I am looking forward to seeing this Twitter announcement. If it even, Twitter is such a technical mess that I wouldn't be surprised if the Twitter Spaces interview that they're doing doesn't even work properly. If it, goes offline, something happens, then they'll end up blaming the left. Oh, the left took it down. It was hackers. As opposed to it being just, Twitter being a complete mess as it's been since Elon Musk took over. But what are these guys going to talk about? It's all such clownish behavior. And unfortunately, they have power. They have a platform. So there is impact there. It's important to acknowledge that, while it may be humorous, at least to me, at least aspects of it, the reality is both of them have done terrible things in terms of DeSantis and Elon Musk. Elon Musk on a more, attempt to change discussions around cultural issues, whereas DeSantis through actual policies. But I don't know. Let's wait and see what happens on Wednesday. I assume I'll be covering it if, something comes out of that. But until then, it's, I don't know. Just going to have to wait. The world is so weird. News is so weird. This is just one of these moments where part of me really doesn't care because I don't. I cannot stand Ron DeSantis or Elon Musk. But I'm in a position here where I'm sort of forced to tell you what the hell's going on. And if these clowns are in the news, well, I got to cover it.